I'm one of you. I lived in the US for 14 years and then moved back home and started building. And that building that I did is something that is very familiar with many of you because a lot of us were raised by a generation that was very committed to seeing themselves as nation builders. An example is my parents. So my father was the first director of adult education, and he was appointed to create literacy for people who had come through colonialism. You know, a lot of people came to the other side without literacy. And I remember that generation. My mom was a banker and ended up at the central bank. They were very, very young. And they just had this thing which they instilled in us where we're all pulling together. Whether you're in the private sector, you're in government, you're in civil society, we all have this goal. We've been given this country, and we're going to pull together and we're going to make something of it. Even though there were many naysayers, you can imagine, as we still have today, who just see Africans as people who can't do much, right? And so I really want to appeal to you to remember that legacy that we have, that people died, they shed blood so that we could have this moment where we pull together and create something out of nothing. Yeah. But some of you have been around the block. And so one question you might be asking is, what is different now, right? Because you've heard us talk about the place of Africa, you've heard us talk about Kenya and the special things about it. And I have some stats I'd like to share with you real briefly. And I know some of you know this, so please bear with me. The latest research is about Kenyans have become the model minority. What does this mean? Statistics are showing there's 174,000 of us in the US. These are 2023 figures. The median income is $93,548 per annum. For married couples, it's $129,000 per annum. This places us as number 3 after Asian Americans and South Africans. Kenyans are next. You guys don't know this? Oh. So I bring good news. Okay, let me read that again. Okay. So Kenyans are 174,000. These are Kenyan Americans in the US. Their median income, singles, 93,548. Married couples, 129,000. This is from the American Community Survey that comes through the Census Bureau. This makes us number 3 after Asian Americans and South Africans. Nigerians are large in number. There are 700,000 of them. And Ghanaians are 235,000. So with 174,000, we're number 3. This is powerful stuff. That's the number one thing that has changed. Okay, so I wrote this on a LinkedIn post. And some of the comments were like, we don't believe you, substantiate. Why are we like this? Anyway. All right, then number 2. We all know that we're saying we have to move beyond remittances. We are now sending $5 billion a year home, 2024, higher than foreign direct investment, higher than all foreign aid, higher than all tourism revenues, foreign exchange from revenues. And this is the diaspora across the world sending remittances. Of that, 51% of that is from the US, you guys. Yeah? I hope you're getting a sense of your own power. Yeah? This is really, really important stuff. So those are 2 things that have changed. The third thing that has changed is the mood of the people. I won't go too far. Is the embassy still here or they've gone? Okay. So one thing that is changing is that there is a hunger and a commitment to seeing a change and building the roots and the prosperity of the people. So what this means is that we are really starting to harness an idea of consolidation. What does this mean? Because of what has happened in USAID and the rest, we are pulling together now and starting to ask, in all these 60 years since independence, what have we learned? There's a lot of wisdom in our ecosystem, but one of the things that we have learned is what has gotten us, what has been we have doing in the past is not going to get us there. What do I mean by this? In the past, you would send small amounts. We've heard earlier today that consumption is not going to move the needle for us. I really loved the comments about consolidation, the power of pulling together, the idea that these power plants are going to be built by us, the roads, the tourism, all of that infrastructure. And so, as we really talk about Centum real estate, I don't know how many of you have been to Vipingo or to Two Rivers, but we're talking about institutional capital. So really encouraging you, at Centum, we have almost 3,000 units already on the ground, and we have 4,000 in production. So 7,000 units. So you're really talking about the single largest builder in the region. We have projects in Pearl Marina in Uganda, and of course Vipingo, which Martin leads. So it is to really encourage you to be confident that now we have an institutional solution that is transparent, where you can see where your money is going, that there's a track record, there's a recourse if you want to understand what has happened with your unit, and you're able to track it. And in the same way that we're consolidating and having a professional approach to building, this is the approach that we should take as we unify across all the different sectors. If we consolidate these funds that we're talking about and work together with people on the ground, we're really talking about you as the diaspora, bringing your time, your talent, and your treasure together to really, really move the needle. Take yourselves very seriously. The rest of the world has recognized the power that you have. But the question is, are you seeing yourself the way that we are seeing you? Or are you still framing yourself in a way that is very outdated now? But you can see that these numbers, when we say it's $5 billion, it's a large number. But if each of you are seeing yourselves as fragmented, it doesn't have the same impact. So please let us unite together. You're going to hear a wonderful, inspiring story about Centum and what we're doing there. Remember that real estate has another thing that makes it very special. It is statistically shown to be the foundation for political and social development. As Nairobi really urbanizes, many people say when you look at the statistics of Nairobi separate from Kenya, it is really an upper middle income country. The per capita income, the way that people are operating, and even the Human Development Index. So you have a very big opportunity to invest in that ecosystem. But please remember that we're not going to be able to do this without you and without your voices and without us pulling together to really make a difference this time. This time should not be like the last time. Thank you so much for listening to me, and welcome.